What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. And I have a special guest today, my friend Rachel. And we became friends because she is or was also a royal watcher like I am. We're both American who, paid a lot of attention to the British royal family in particular. And we became even better friends through Megxit. So Rachel, do you want to introduce yourself? I gave a soft introduction.
Sure, that was great. Yeah, my name is Rachel. I've been a royal watcher for I'd say over 10 years now.
Wow.
I think with William and Catherine getting engaged, that's when I was like, I knew of the Queen and stuff, but I didn't really care.
Mm-hmm.
Until I was like, oh my gosh, Catherine is beautiful. I want to know who these people are. You know what I mean? So that's where it really started, and I really, really started to really pay attention. I think on social media, and I started my own Instagram account. I think back in 2017 or 2018. So
okay, wow.
When Meghan Markle came on scene.
Okay. And what was your first impression of Meghan? Especially you said that you've been royal watching basically for 10 years now, and did you compare her to Catherine? Did you feel okay, she's her own person? She's, what was your initial impression of her?
Yeah, so I always said, besides Catherine, Harry was always my favorite royal.
Mm-hmm.
He was so funny, so fun to watch at his engagements. And I always thought that, he would obviously get married. And then when the news broke that him and Meghan were dating and then they were engaged, I was really happy and excited for Harry. I think he finally found... I thought he found, his Catherine. I know, they had a really great relationship. And I was finally happy to see him find somebody. And just from the research that I did of Meghan, I thought, she's American. How fun is that? I thought she was great. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say, the engagement interview, I was like, oh, no, she's just bad news. But, I really did like her. And I did believe her that she didn't really know much about the royal family, so that was kind of cool. And I don't know, I thought she dressed really nice and spoke really well and seemed to hold her own, and she seemed very smart, so I was really excited. And the whole time, of the wedding planning, I was really for her, I think. And I don't want to say that I'm not for her anymore. Mm-hmm. I still watch her every move, unfortunately.
Yeah, we both do.
And I think there's a little bit of hope there still. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was always such a big fan of Meghan. And even in the beginning of their marriage, their first couple royal tours, I just thought, maybe she's just trying to get a hang of the whole, royal etiquette. And, it's such a different world.
Exactly.
That not many can handle. So I don't want to blame her and say, she should have known. She should have known better. She wasn't a grown adult, right? But I don't know. It's just not for everybody. Mm-hmm. But I think the things that she does is on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I was telling a friend yesterday that I personally don't think that I could marry a royal because it's a whole different world. It's not the same as being a celebrity. But for me, royal watching, I got into royalty when I was 13, when I found a fictional diary of Marie Antoinette. And I was like, wow, there's a girl who was 13, 14, who was a princess. That's crazy, back in the 1700s. Whoa. And of course, in America, we do learn about King Henry VIII, Elizabeth I. We learn that there are such things as monarchs. Obviously, we learn about Egyptian pharaohs. So monarchy has been around forever. Before there was ever a president or a mayor or whatever, there was royals. But yeah, exactly what you said. I was so I was shook. I was like, yo, Harry. I didn't pay extreme close attention to the royal family until Meghan came on the scene. But I watched a very small glimpse of William and Catherine's wedding. I remember I was in high school, and it was when Catherine was walking into Westminster Abbey, and I was blown away by her when she came out of the carriage, and I was like, wow, a real princess. That's crazy. And of course, there's Diana. We all know about Diana. We all know who Diana is. And she's amazing. I learned about Princess Grace of Monaco. I watched the Nicole Kidman movie, which obviously probably wasn't it wasn't a documentary, but I was like, wow, she went through a lot. She was literally an American who married into the royal family. And of course, once Meghan came, there's more of a interest because it's someone in your own lifetime marrying into the same family as like Diana and all these other people. So you're just like, wow, let me like look into it. And then I found out about Wallace Simpson and Edward, and I was like, whoa, like this is uncanny. Yeah, it's literally very uncanny. And I was like, damn. I remember, I think it was before the wedding, finding out about like really, I knew who Wallace Simpson was. I heard the name before, but it's like one of the, like Yoko Ono. Like if you weren't there at the time, you don't really put in the work to figure out, you're like, okay, Yoko Ono, whatever, whoever that is. It was with the guy from the Beatles. Okay, but then if you become a fan of that time and you look into those things, like Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, I've heard of her, seen her. I know she's an American icon, but I never watched her movies. I wasn't that interested in her. They're names. They're just names, until you actually look into it. So when I looked into Wallace Simpson, I was like, this is very scary. This is kind of scary because I felt like it was like a bad omen. When you read about certain people, you're like, this is very interesting. So, but the crazy part is, the more that, Meghan and Harry got married, you start to hear all these things. I also ran a fan account, but not since 2018. I think it was like November 2019 is when I opened my account. Something to that effect. And yeah, it was like the same thing. But when she got pregnant, there was something that just seemed off to me. And the royal tour in Australia, something was just off and I couldn't shake it, but something just didn't feel right. And then by the South Africa tour, I was done with them. But for the sake of my fan account, I was like, let me just keep going. But it was just, I fell out of favor with Meghan like during the South Africa tour because my family's from there. And it was just really annoying to have her go there and throw a pity party. And it was just not, there's a time and a place for everything. Yeah, it was not the time. And it was
outside of a place where girls learn how to defend themselves from rape, basically. That, I think I totally agree with you. Yeah. That's when I'm done. Yeah. I'm not sticking up for her anymore. Yeah. She's, digging her own grave at this point. But yeah, there's always, like you mentioned the Australia tour. I believe that was their first royal tour.
Yes.
There's always question marks around them. And I think that's when it really started. And then the whole pregnancy just didn't make sense. And, I never want to shame someone for being pregnant or whatever, but I don't want to say that she didn't carry her own children, but yeah, it was really weird. And the birth announcement was weird, almost like she didn't even keep the palace updated, and they were kind of scrambling. So yeah, it was all very strange. And yeah, I would agree with you that South Africa tour, that's it for me.
And it's like, to people who aren't royal watchers, a lot of people have asked me, but why do you care so much? Like, she's her own woman, let her live her life. But it's like, okay, but she's American, so she somewhat in some way represents us on a global stage. And I hate the ignorant American card that she's always trying to pull. She's 40. She was 35 when she met Harry, 34, 35. She's not a child. If she was in Gen Z and she said, oh, I didn't know anything about I'd be like, okay, you're 15, you're 16, whatever. It's not the days when Marie Antoinette literally got married at 14 years old to a 16-year-old. Like, it's not that time. And it's like, it's not like she's not exposed to the world. She traveled all the time. She's been here, she's been there, she's been all over the place. So she can't say, I didn't know. Like, for her to say, number one, I didn't know much about the royal family. Okay, but you lived in Canada for 7 years where the queen is on the money. And you literally, there was an interview.
You took a picture outside Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, you took a picture outside of Buckingham Palace when you were 15 years old. And oh, that's a nice building. Who lives there? Like, I don't think that was what was going on through her head. And even her childhood friend said, oh, she had books about Diana. She cried during the funeral. It's not like she was born in 2000. She was born in the late 80s, right? So, like, she knew who they were. She can't play that.
Yeah, and Diana was such a, everybody, still knows Diana. You exactly. Only have to say Diana, and they know, who you're talking about.
Yeah, you're not, yeah.
So, yeah. And did he wear, I'm sure it's still like a rumor, but wear Diana's favorite perfume on the first date? I don't even know what Diana's favorite perfume is, and I've been royal watching for a long time. That takes some serious research.
Yeah. And on top of that, she went to the school, Northwestern University. I think she went to Columbia as well, but she also went to Northwestern University that Diana visited in the 90s. So it's like this sort of like, you don't know, but you coincidentally somehow magically know the perfume. You know, you wear the same clothes as her all the time. You know what I mean? You say that, oh, nobody ever told me that I was doing a good job. Just like Diana magically said, you were, you know, wanted to check out of Life's Hotel early while you were pregnant, like how Diana allegedly threw herself down the stairs when she was pregnant with William. Somehow your life parallels her at every turn, but somehow you magically have no idea anything. You don't know anything about this woman. And you're dressed like Wallace Simpson giving an interview where you didn't know, your mom didn't know if Diana did an interview ever. And, you know, even with this letter that she wrote to Congress, which you know about, like, there's another thing that she was very much living an online life, and she was a blogger with so many entries, and people keep catching her in lies. And, like, obviously we're not medical professionals. We don't want to diagnose her with narcissistic personality disorder, but somehow she keeps literally lying to people, and she thinks that we don't know. And I'm
right, like she thinks that we can't go back and look things she said or did. Like, it's so crazy to me. I don't understand it, but also I think they, like, bad press is better than no press, right? So I think they do things on purpose, especially her. That letter to Congress, you know, I have a million things to say about that, but it's not so much her that I'm annoyed of. I'm kind of over it, and I expect her to kind of do things that are going to make me a little mad. But at this point, royal watching is no longer fun. You know, it's such a toxic group. You know, it's just so divided, and it's not even fun anymore. And that's really sad. And I don't think it's ever going to change because, you know, now Meghan really want, and I'm sure Harry too, want to compete against Catherine and William.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Catherine show up looking so amazing at the Bond premiere, and you just know that they're going to come and do something to overshadow them.
In the same week, yeah.
Yeah, or in the same day.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just very weird because, like, you know, a lot of people said with Megxit that you can't quit your job and try to keep the same benefits. But it's not, like you said earlier, they've only been to Sussex one time. But it's like, you know, these comments like, oh, nobody owns the word service, or, you know, nobody owns the word royal, or, oh, you don't have to be a princess, you can live a life better than one. But you cannot, for the love of God, stop saying that, like, oh, I'm the Duchess of Sussex. Hi, I'm the Duchess. Hi, hello, I'm the Duchess of. Did you know? There's a place called Sussex. I'm the Duchess. Did you know? That doesn't hold weight in this country. Like, if you were in Canada, maybe, but even then, there's no Duchess of Ontario. You know.
I think the only place it really and I know there's the Commonwealth, but I really think the only place it holds value is in the UK.
Yeah.
Even so, like, I'm not really anymore. Like, yes, it's a royal title, of course, but I mean, it's not like you're right. You can't quit your job and keep the same benefits. I can keep the same title that I had at my previous job.
Yeah.
You can't. Have you ever heard Catherine say, "Hi, I'm the Duchess of Cambridge"? The one time I've ever heard her say, "I'm the Duchess of Cambridge," was in a video to a little child.
Yeah.
You know, in the 20s, you know, the 10 years she's been married to William.
Yeah.
It's just it's so strange to me that you can sit here and say all these terrible things about the royal family, and, you know, you don't want to be part of it, and whatever, and not even do the duties of a duchess, but still call yourself a duchess. Yeah. That's just so crazy to me. And I think she's just, I don't know what to think, really.
And even Sarah Ferguson doesn't style herself still as, she doesn't go around saying, "Hi, I'm the Duchess of York." You know, Princess Eugenie and Beatrice don't run around saying, "Hi, I'm the princess. You know, my grandma is, or my grandma is the queen. Did you know that?" Like, my cousin is the next king, like, you know. And even I was reading about how Camilla doesn't style herself as the Princess of Wales, even though she's entitled to that title because her husband is the Prince of Wales. But out of respect for Diana and her legacy, I'm sure, you know, I mean, obviously they had a very controversial, the three of them, there was three of us in this marriage, like the three of them have their own, you know, love triangle, crazy drama. But even out of respect, Camilla has enough sense to know that, like, yeah, I was with him first, but still, Diana will always be the Princess of Wales in that regard, you know. So,
yeah,
she, you know, styles herself as the Duchess of Cornwall, but I'm sure she doesn't walk around saying, "Hey, did you know there's a place called Cornwall? I'm the Duchess." And so it's just, I don't like. For the love of God, I try to understand everybody from every angle, but I don't understand the cognitive dissonance that seems to be happening between her brain and everybody else. And, like, you know, like the Sussex squad, they're like insane. And I haven't seen this level of obsession besides like K-pop fans. You know what I mean? And like maybe Justin Bieber mania or whatever, but like, what? Like the fact that, like, you know, I sent you that article where that woman who represented Samantha said that, oh, you know, they tried to kill me, I have to buy a gun to protect myself, all these kinds of crazy things. And it's like, they tried to hack my Instagram, I've told you this before. They literally got Murky Meg banned off of the internet. So it's like, but the thing is that, like, they are in direct contact with her. Like, they literally speak to her because she's thanked certain accounts for, you know, oh, thank you for whatever you've done. But it's like, these people are literally wishing hate on members of the family. Like, and, you know, even her in the interview, oh, if you love Kate, you don't have to hate me. Or if you love me, you don't have to hate her. But she's not telling her people, yo, just chill out. Because she knows that they're like her lapdogs. Like, I just don't understand. Like, if my followers on Instagram attacked somebody, I'd be like, yo, stop. But she's never said that. You know, it's just, I don't
get it. I really don't. I don't get it. And I don't, like, honestly, the toxicity of royal watching is from her followers, the Sussex squad, or whatever they call themselves. It doesn't come from people who, you know, support Kate. I mean, I see accounts that still to this day who are, you know, more so geared towards Kate Middleton, but still support the Duchess of Sussex. Like, I don't know. It's just so hateful, and it's not fun. You know, I'll post a picture. I stopped really, like, continuously posting on my royal fan account, I think last year, because, like, I post a picture and then of Kate and William, and they're like, you're the reason why Meghan is so miserable. And I'm like,
what did I do? Yeah.
What did I do?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, you know how many people have called me racist because I hate Meghan. Like, what?
You man.
Excuse me? Racist against who?
Right. I know. It is.
And it's just, the thing about it is, all right, like, you can call out somebody for lying without hating. I don't hate her. I'm trying to understand, like, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's like where we played all along, because, you know, when you watch the engagement interview, oh, we're ready to hit the ground running as a team, you know, we're so excited, and all these, you know, the phrases and the buzzwords and the, Kate and William have been wonderful welcoming her into the family. It's great. And when you saw them as the Fab Four, as we used to call them, like, they looked happy together. But was it the whole time? Was it all a lie? Was it that, oh, I don't want to walk in behind them, or I'm mad because there's this royal precedence? I'm okay. Like, Sophie and Edward are older members of the family, but they have to walk behind Harry and Meghan all the time because in a rank, like, Harry is above them in rank, right? So it's like, well, they don't complain. They don't say anything.
Well, think about the Princess Royal, who's the second born, but she's pushed all the way to the bottom because of her brothers.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Doesn't complain. She's probably the most hardworking royal under the Queen of that whole family.
Yeah.
You don't hear any. I think the issue is plain and simple. Meghan doesn't know who she is. There's a lot of insecurity, and it's so obvious. When you don't know, like, who you are, or you're not confident in who you are, you're just going to be so lost and miserable, and you're just going to drag everybody down around you.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't want to say that about her, but I think it's obvious, and she will do whatever she can to, I don't know, like when you say that she was oh, they welcomed me into the family and the Fab Four, it was just so she would get the attention on her, and oh, I'm fitting into this family, and then she just did a 180 and realized she didn't want to walk behind Catherine anymore, be separate to Catherine, and she wanted to be the queen.
The queen of the world, not just of the Commonwealth. But yeah, I think their decision to move to California, talking about, oh, I missed home so much, it's so good to be home. But why weren't you there when you were in Suits for 7 years? The thing about it is she openly said on a panel with the Suits castmates that she lied about being a union actress. I don't know if you've seen that clip. And she said that those casting directors to this day won't hire her whenever the clip was made. So she couldn't really be in California because she was low-key blacklisted for lying, because she was literally reported by the actors, these casting directors, for lying about being a union actress. And I get it that unions are expensive. Like, I'm in the animation field, gonna be in it once I graduate school, and like you have to pay to be in the union, but you can't literally lie and say, yeah, I'm in the union, because that's a big deal. It's a huge deal. So like, she luckily was able to get work in Canada but couldn't work in California. So I think that her going back and being like, I'm the Duchess, literally, like, she's trying to say, oh yeah, I don't need you guys. I don't need you guys to cast me, because look at me now. I married a prince and I have all this money and I have all this wealth without you. I did it by myself. And it's like, okay, like I remember I was telling a friend that in the early 1900s, rich American women were marrying their daughters off to European families so that they could get a title. So like Consuela Vanderbilt and all these people were literally getting married to, these rich royals who had titles and dukedoms and whatever. But the thing is, like, women at that time were paying dowry. So like the men were getting the good end of the deal. The women just got this grand wedding and a title, and oh my God, she's a duchess, whatever she is. But their money was going to like refurbish the house and like all the palace and whatever the mansions that they were living at. They were really didn't have the upkeep that they do now. So their dowry money was going to renovate all of these places. So it was just for show, But but they were living in Europe where a title meant something. You know what I mean? So like to be the Duchess of Windsor means something in Europe, but it doesn't mean anything here. What are you a Duchess of?
And the nerve to put it, put her letter on her letterhead of,
the office.
Like at some, like, okay, it doesn't surprise me that she wrote that letter and, with the Duchess of Sussex as the header, right? That doesn't surprise me. What really surprises me is that she got away with it, and the royal institution, the royal household, did not address it, because that is meddling into foreign U.S. politics and affairs, and I think that needs to be addressed, but they won't. They can Harry and Meghan can get away with anything, and I think that title means nothing here, no matter how much he wants to say it. And I think she said it in the video with her reading her book, because everyone is, saying that the title means nothing here. And I think it's just a slap in the face to all of us. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like illusions of grandeur. And it's like, the New York trip. If you want to go to New York and have a romantic trip, I don't care. I would love it if they went to New York and had cute dinner dates and she actually dressed well. That would be, I do not care. The thing about it is, like we talked about, leaving the job and keeping the benefits is impossible. I would have loved it if Megxit happened and she said, you know what, I just want to go to California and just live my life with my husband. And she just minded her own damn business. Don't meddle in politics. This election is the most important election of our lifetime. You haven't voted since like 2014. There's some record that's like public voting records. She hadn't voted in a long time. She lived in Canada for 7 years. It didn't matter who the president was in America. And she even said, I'm not coming back to America unless Trump is out. But she snuck here before the borders closed. Right before the border closed, under the cover of night, while he was still in office. So it's like, okay, and you're not the whole thing about, oh, she's free to use her titles if she wishes, she doesn't need to, but she's going to because she still has it. And the thing is, she could, some people are suspecting, oh, she wants the titles taken away so that she can go by the Princess Henry, but that still doesn't hold weight either. You know what I mean?
She's not going to go by Princess Henry.
Yeah, no.
Could you?
Like Princess Michael of Kent. Like, no, So, it's just, I think, like I made the example earlier with the whole, oh, it's a slap in the face to the people who didn't want to hire her because she's like, oh, look at me now. But it's amazing because, Anna Wintour is like, isn't she a dame? So she wasn't going to invite them to the Met Gala anyways because, she's cool with the British royal family. Like, there's a lot of people in Hollywood who Angelina Jolie, I think, has met the Queen, something to that effect. So, like, why would they be running around with Meghan and Harry and all that, gossiping, kikiing, when it's like they were actually there with the Queen? They've met the royal family before, and they don't want to, disrespect them in that regard. And it's like, if she had quit and just said, you know what, I'm just going to open a fashion blog. I like fashion. I want to just, do a little bit of styling, whatever. I would have been like, okay, cool. If she reopened the TIG and just did that, fine. That's your own private life. But, like, I really admire that Eugenie and Beatrice, because some people think that they're moles, that they are, sneaking around and telling Meghan and Harry all this stuff, happy birthday, dear cousin, all that kind of stuff. But I really admire that they are not yapping all the time. They are blood princesses, but they are just living their quiet life. They go on engagements to their grandma whenever she wants them to, and they just chill. They show up at some royal events. But, one of them is in art. I think the other one is in finance. We don't hear about it. We don't need to know all of that, all up lost in the sauce. So, yeah, I literally don't understand it, and I don't understand what her end game is, because I'm trying to figure out, what are you trying to do? Like, what when you look at, like, the end of something, what does she see as the end of all of this? Some people think she's going to leave him and run off with the kids, and she moved to California because the divorce laws are this way. I don't know. But I'm trying to understand it. I just don't understand.
I don't either.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. If she would have her and Harry ran off to California for a quiet life, I applaud you for it. Being a royal is not for everybody. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't think they have an end game. I really don't. But who knows?
Yeah.
I don't see them going back.
Yeah.
I don't see, the Brits welcoming them with open arms. Mm-hmm. I think they've, really cut those ties and, burned those bridges. So I don't know. I hear all the time of, like, oh, she wants to run for office or whatever.
Be president.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No. No, I mean, those people who are like never Trumpers, like, he's never gonna win, and then he won. Like, I personally don't see Meghan, because politics is a completely different ballgame in every regard. They dig you up like a dead body, and they just go to town with your record. So I couldn't see her handling a debate at all. She's just I think she's too fragile. But even in the letter to Congress, like we said, there's one lie after the other. Her talking about how, oh, I ate $5 salad and it was like a treat, but she literally posted she went to Muzo and Frank's every single Saturday after she had ballet and tap class, and food over there is $55 for a steak. So I'm just like, the appetizers start at $14. So I'm just like, the lady who's trying to do the math, that meme, I'm trying to figure out, like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, and in this whole I was poor growing up is just it's so easily disproven, mm-hmm. because her father was a lighting director on a very popular show.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's not, scrounging up pennies at the, in the pocket of his jeans.
Under the couch.
You do as a lighting director for a popular show.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even remember which one it was, but...
Wasn't it Married with Children? Something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
And apparently, like, Lady Colin Campbell said he was making $200,000 a year in 1995, which was way more money than it is now. It was like $1 million at that time. So, I mean, And then he won the lottery. He won like $700,000 in the lottery, something crazy like that, to the point where she was going to a private elementary school,
Yeah.
private middle school, private high school, went to 2 different colleges. Columbia and Northwestern are not cheap.
No. No, they're very expensive. I think it's not Ivy League.
I think Northwestern is.
Is it? It's pretty up there.
Yeah. It's in the top 10 with Harvard, I would believe. Yeah. So
yeah.
And these are things that you can literally go on Google, click, clack, moo, cows that type, and then literally find all of the stuff. And like, literally, I could just look it up. And then you just...
No.
So this whole, like, does she think Nancy Pelosi is stupid? Or, like, not in her right mind? Like, I mean, you know, if you're a Republican, you have your own thoughts about, you know, Nancy Pelosi. But it's like, people in Congress, you can literally... You have the same Google that we have. And Google, you just look it up. So I just don't... It's weird because it's like she's trying to rewrite history, and it really doesn't make sense because, I mean, I wasn't there, but I was there to see, like, okay, she had a blog, she wrote these posts, she had an Instagram. There's archives. Even though she deleted it, the internet is forever. So it's like, she literally said in one of her blog posts that her mother was a travel agent and they used to go to Hawaii all the time. I've lived in America my whole life. I was born and raised in America. In 26 years, I've never been to Hawaii. It's right there, but I've never been there. I've never been to Mexico. I've never been to Canada. So it's just like, you used to go to Hawaii all the time. Just pop on over to Hawaii, like, but you were poor. But like, you were living in the ghetto when there were the Watts riots, and your mom had to pull you in the house. You had to run, like
what? A couple years off or something.
Yeah, something crazy like that. And you know, like when Hillary Clinton was like, "Oh, we were in Bosnia under sniper fire," and you see videos of her walking on the tarmac, shaking hands, getting flowers from the kids, and she's like, "Oh, well, you know." And it's like, people just lie, like we're dumb. We're okay. If we were living in like 1905 or something, where like
it's some access to
the
internet.
Yeah, then we could just believe. We could just believe and be like, "Wow!" But guys, come on now. We live in the information age. What do you mean? Like, we have the videos.
Right.
We have the article where like, literally, I was dying because I was on Twitter and it was like the woman named Baroness Buck. I don't know if you follow her on Twitter, but she was like, she literally was like, her mother was I'm sorry. Her mother was a travel agent, but she said her mother was a yoga instructor. Then she said her mother was a social worker. Her mother was a therapist. How many jobs? How many jobs does she have? Like, how many degrees? How many degrees does she have? Because, you need to go to, like, okay, maybe you don't need to go to school to be a travel agent or whatever, but like, you know, she talks about how, I studied, what the hell did she say she studied? That she double majored in
international
and theater. But, Paula M on YouTube, I don't know if you follow her, she called Northwestern and said, "Oh, I have a daughter who's a huge Meghan Markle fan who wants to, do a double major in these 2 things." And they're like, "We don't offer double majors at this school." And so, like, everything was a lie. Everything. And the worst part is, like, when you lie, when you literally just tell one lie after the other, you insult our intelligence. And you seem like a devil. Like you seem like you have dementia. Like, you can't you tell a lie and you forget. And you're like, "I don't remember what I said. I don't recall. I don't know who that is." And it's like, you have no conscience. You literally have no conscience. How do you sleep at night? Like, literally, how do you sleep at night knowing that you dead ass every 2 seconds? Every time your mouth opens, you just can't help it. You just lie. And Doria. How does she reconcile do you think that she, like, my mom couldn't live, like, with me in good conscience knowing that I'm a pathological liar. Like, my mom, if that was my mom, she would have literally made a YouTube video being like, "Yo, I'm sorry guys, I gotta spill the tea on my own kid because she's a liar." All she does is lie. Like, I told her, I was like, "Mom, if I became a criminal, don't defend me. just let me go to jail. She's like, yeah, I wouldn't protect you. Like, I didn't raise a criminal. So literally, like, you just, like, and the thing is, like, her dad, like, I was watching a video where someone was basically talking about how, the body language guy was talking about how her dad became an obstacle for her because she probably told Harry a completely different life story than what she actually had. You know, this whole thing about, oh, when I was growing up, people were mean to me because I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids. And, you know, teachers that went to her, who taught at her school, know certain people who are in aristocratic circles. And they said, we didn't even know she was biracial because her mom never came to the school. We didn't know until she graduated, basically, that she was biracial. And we were like, oh, but it didn't matter. Nobody cared. And I'm thinking to myself, it's not 1962. Biracial people have always existed in history. And
right. She acts like the first one.
Like, oh, I remember it. And she talked about, there was a time where she talked about how, you know, somebody called her mother the N-word and how, you know, she was visiting home from college and how she was so shaken up and her mother was crying in the car. And it's like, all these stories have to be told with such flair, like this grandiose, like, movie moment, like a Hallmark movie of, like, this was a scene where I realized that, like, you know, and people, I realized that I was black. Like, I realized that there was something different about me. I didn't know. And so it's just like I get that you and I are both the writers, right? But even the way we talk about things, it doesn't have to be like this, you know, oh, me eating breakfast with my mom this morning doesn't have to be a soap opera. Oh, I was sitting there, you know, eating my spicy chorizo, and all of a sudden a man walked in and he looked at me up and down, and he was just, I could tell he was repulsed by me, and I was just so uncomfortable I couldn't eat. My stomach just, no, man, I was just eating my food. I had a good time. I had a latte. It was great. It doesn't have to be like this. I don't understand why everything with her has to be a telenovela. She can't have a normal day. She can't have a normal experience without it being like, you know, I was having these feelings that I didn't want to be alive anymore. And it was such a real, constant thought. Like, why? I was watching that clip, and I'm sorry. Because I have personally felt that way before. Been there, done that about the t-shirt. But I cannot. Why do I have to tell you it was real? Why do I have to tell you, oh, it was this really, it was real? Because if I tell you, yo, Rachel, like, I'm not really feeling all right in my mind. Like, I'm having these crazy thoughts. Why do I have to then tell you, like, these dramatic pauses, these facial expressions, like somebody said action. Mr.
That's all she knows.
Yeah, like, I'm ready for my close-up. Okay, you can go ahead because I've been rambling.
No, I think you're right on the target. And I think it's really her studying Diana's, you know, interview of the, you know, the eyes and the dramatic pauses and the innocence that Diana portrayed. I mean, I really do. And we saw that in the South Africa video. Mm-hmm. I mean, she nailed it to a T. I mean, it was like watching Diana all over again. And it's so weird, this obsession mm-hmm. that not only she has with Diana, but Harry. Mm-hmm. It's very weird, mm-hmm. and I don't understand it. I'm just, I don't know. Harry he used to be so fun, always smiling, having a great time on engagements, and really, like, enjoying mm-hmm. the people and being around mm-hmm. people. And now you see him, and it's like she's dragging him along, and he just, like, looks just dead inside.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is a little turbulence in the marriage. I mean, I don't ever want that on someone else's marriage, but, you know, I think he's stuck, and I don't know. I mean, she's completely isolated him.
Yeah.
So it's just all very strange, and I think she wants to be Diana
2.0.
2.0, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all just very weird. And
yeah. Like, with what you said, like, the Diana obsession, it's this, like, can we just let her rest in peace? You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's been quite some time since she's been gone. God rest her soul. But it's like they're turning her into this caricature of like I think it's kind of the same as what they're doing with Marie Antoinette, even though she has like a very negative connotation, even though she was a like I personally, from my own research, because I'm obsessed with her, she was a normal. First of all, royalty back then was way more sheltered than they are now. They weren't out there shaking hands with the public as much as the current royals and all that kind of stuff. They grew up literally in the palace with extreme royal etiquette. Like there was no TV, no phones, whatever. They weren't like connected to the rest of the world in that way. It was just like, oh, you're royal. You have a cousin somewhere in some other country who's a royal, and you guys see each other whenever they come to visit. But it's not like you could pick up the phone and call them. But she got, like I said earlier, she got married when she was 14 to a 16-year-old that she had never met. She'd seen him in portraits, and she was the youngest out of like 15 kids, and was the least educated out of the rest of them, because when you're the youngest, you're literally like the last of the last when it comes to priorities. And her mom wasn't really trying to marry her off, but her older sisters got sick. There was a bunch of things going on with them. But she moved to France. They had their own extreme royal etiquette, and she had a hard time adjusting. And most women, when we are feeling emotionally stressed, we shop. So that's what she did. She was 14, 15, 16, 17. What else was she going to do? You know what I mean? So she was partying and living it up and all that kind of stuff. And the crazy thing is that, there's this caricature of her now as some, spendthrift, doesn't care about anything but money and dresses and parties and just, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. When in reality, she was always writing these letters to her mom, like, okay, it's really cold here at the court. Like, not like physically cold, but it's like people are cold. I don't really know how to, blend in well. They were calling her all these names. They called her the Austrian bitch because France and Austria didn't like each other at the time. And, she and her husband had a very awkward marriage because he was not the first choice to be the king, but like his dad died and like all of this kind of stuff. So he was the next in line, and he was just an awkward 16-year-old who liked to like read maps and like read, and he was a nerd in today's standards. So he was just very shy and awkward, and they had a very awkward marriage. But it's like she's painted as somebody that she's not. And it's like, with Diana, they're trying to paint her as this, like, if you saw The Crown season 4, I don't remember did you watch the new, yeah, she's just this melancholy, sad, like almost schizophrenic. Yeah, always angry, always, Charles, you don't understand me, Charles. Yeah. And it's like, always like, if I was married to somebody like that, how they portray her, I wouldn't want to be married to her too, because she was always miserable in these portrayals of her, and she was laughing in reality. She was having a good time. Even when she first did marry Charles, she did have smiles on her face. It wasn't all for the camera. She did say that she had some good times with him. So it's just annoying to see how they're Marie Antoinetting her, in the sense of they're painting this caricature of her as this rigid, sad, extremely depressed, like, always, she can't even eat 2 cookies without throwing them up. All of this kind of craziness. And it's like, I think she would hate how she's portrayed in the media today. And it's like, I think Harry is doing his mom a disservice to be like, I'm writing a biography. I'm researching how she really died. And all, it's like, dude, let her rest. Let her spirit rest. Like, what is the... like how he even said, oh, I'm not going to play the same games that took my mom. What games? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Diana was calling the paparazzi on herself. And people don't want to admit that, like, maybe she wasn't getting attention in her marriage, but she's like, well, I'm going to get attention from everybody else then. And that's what she did. And that's facts. So I don't understand this weird obsession. It's like he's obsessed with what he thought his mother was instead of who she was.
Yeah, I think we want to keep that innocent Diana alive. And we all know, I don't want to say we all know, people who truly do the research and know who Diana was, know that she wasn't this innocent person. Yes, Charles did what he did, and I don't agree with it, but, Diana was not innocent. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with you. She called the paparazzi on herself. And, she snuck behind, her royal protection officers, and that night shouldn't have happened. You know, I mean, she wasn't even wearing a seatbelt, so.
And the driver was drunk.
I think the driver was, yeah, right. So it's just all very strange. It really is, and I don't know. It's really sad because, like I said, Harry was my favorite royal. I thought he was just like the funnest person to watch, and just, I don't know. I don't know what their end game is. Like, same with you. I don't know what they want out of this. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's like watching a train wreck in real time, and
or like a car crash.
Yeah.
Where you want to look away, but you and love to hate them, right? So.
Yeah, I don't. Okay.
You can keep going.
Okay. No, yeah, I don't get what their end game is either, and it's just very like we talked about with one lie after the other. There's, you know, finding freedom, and you know, Omid Scooby-Doo had said that, you know, he had nothing to do with the book and everything, but surprise, surprise, when the court came out, when it was in court, it was like, oh yeah, she did have something to do with it. She okayed certain things, and like, have you tried to read the book?
No.
Okay. Oh my God. It's one product placement after the other. Like, you can't go through one chapter without hearing, oh, she wore her Manolo Blahnik shoes, and she carried her Chanel bag, and she was drinking this, whatever the title is, sparkling water, and you know, she was at this lodge in Africa somewhere doing yoga, and literally when it talked about her doing yoga, it was literally like somebody was trying to describe a scene to a blind person. It was literally like, oh, she was doing her warrior pose. I don't do yoga. I don't know what the poses are. You know, she was doing her.
I think that's a pose.
Yeah, she was doing her warrior pose while, you know, the birds. It was like the beginning of The Lion King. Literally, like, the birds were flying through the air and painting the sky with all of these colors, and it was like, dude, who wrote this? And
Meghan, who wrote it?
Probably she's the ghostwriter. She's a ghostwriter, and they just slapped. You know, people were saying that Carolyn Durant is Meghan because since the book came out, she disappeared. We only saw her once. But you know, a lot of people say to me that they feel bad most for Archie and Lily. First of all, like you said, the pregnancy was just very odd. It was weird because, like, the thing about it is, like, what do you have to hide? Because they hide things when they want to hide things, and it's like, she was like 2 weeks pregnant, clutching the bump. Like, that was just very awkward because it's like, you're not even really showing like that, and it's like, oh. And it's just like, what is going on? Is the baby gonna run away? What's going on?
Right.
What are you holding? Stop! Leave! Don't leave me!
It's slipping. I gotta hold it.
The moon bump! Stop. Yo, stop!
I missed those days.
No. No, stop. No, you don't. We don't want to see it again.
Ever-changing bump.
Yo, I literally don't. I thought I was going crazy when she was pregnant because I was like, I would look at a picture and be like, yo, am I crazy? Or like, did the bump grow? Did it shrink?
No, I honestly really do believe that she carried. I do. I don't want to believe that she didn't.
Because if she didn't.
It's all about angles, I think. I think, you know, it just looks different, you know, in different angles. But yeah, I don't want to believe that she didn't carry.
Because if she, I'm honestly torn. I'm very torn because when I was still a fan, people used to DM me and be like, "Oh, Meghan is not who you think. She's wearing a moon bump," and I was like, "This is crazy. This is literally just absurd." But then it's the ever-changing bump sizes, and I was just confused because a baby doesn't shrink. The baby at 6 months doesn't go back to 4 months small. It doesn't gain weight and lose weight. It's like, it's a human being that's ever growing. I've never heard of a baby shrinking. Maybe that's something magical that it only happened to her. But it's like, and also the squatting at 9 months, at 8 months, in heels, knees together. That's impossible. I've never been pregnant, but that's literally impossible. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to say she didn't carry the kids, but I'm not fully convinced that she did carry them. Because I also heard, allegedly, that when she was with her ex-husband, she told him, oh, I can't get pregnant or something crazy like that, or I'm not going to have a baby with you or whatever. And, I mean, she got married when she was, 26, 27? So, like, for her to tell him I'm not having a kid or I'm not getting pregnant or something crazy like that, it's like, okay, well, wow, you're pretty young. Maybe you want to, get solid in acting first or something. But I'm confused. And, apparently people have called the hospital where she allegedly gave birth to Lilybeth, and there's nobody under that name that was born under that name. So I don't know. Like, I would never call the hospital. That's not my business. But other people claim that they have. And I just, like, oh, it's so private. But, like, nobody saw them go in or out. Okay, yeah, you could go through the back door. But, like, this person has lied so many times that I wouldn't be surprised if she lied about carrying the kids. I'm sorry. And, what is the mystery? What is the mystery behind? And the crazy part is, I think that it's a slap in the face to the British people because they have never seen the child in person either. They never saw Archie. We saw him in Africa, and we didn't see him breathing again until the birthday interview where he was in a diaper, like trying to jump out of Meghan's lap. So I don't understand why the kids are being so secret. Like, okay, if Queen Elizabeth turned around tomorrow and said, okay, we're gonna give him, he's gonna be the Prince of Sussex or something, and Lily is gonna be the princess of wherever, would the kids magically appear? Like, Lily was born when? In May, June, whatever, and we'd never, where is she? Is there even a baby? Like, so it's just this, like you said, the ever-changing bump, the ever-changing children, here today, gone tomorrow, weird-ass Christmas card. Like, is that an actor? Whose child is that? Like, and I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like that, but, like, what are we supposed to think?
Because there's always question marks for everything they do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I think children are real. I mean, I know they are. I think I don't want to say they're not, but you're right. They are only used, like, to, I don't know, benefit them some way. And the only time we'll see them is Christmas cards, or and
but
the
even
weird Christmas cards
where they're blurred out.
Yeah.
The kid is backwards. We don't see his face. We just see the back of it. That could be anybody. That could have been me. That could be anybody. So who is that? Who's the kid? Who is that? The kid on the Spotify, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. That could maybe that's not them. Maybe that's a voice actor. We don't, like, that's the thing. There's so many question marks. Like, are we being hoodwinked and bamboozled? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, it is all so strange. It really is. And I don't know. I don't know if it's the royal household isn't doing anything about it, especially their titles, because I think maybe they're holding something over their heads. And I don't know. It's all very strange, and I don't think we'll ever know.
Yeah.
I think they'll be the Duke and Duchess of Sussex until the day they die. Because their titles aren't going anywhere.
Yeah. Like the Duchess of Windsor. I mean, and not Windsor, sorry. The Duchess of York. She's still, technically, I guess, the Duchess of York. And, she's done the same thing that Meghan has done. So it's just like, she never got in trouble for it, I guess. So, I mean, I don't understand, but it's just crazy how, like, does Harry, like, when you said that he looks so different now, yet the other day, maybe it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I watched this video and it was like Harry before and after Meghan, and it was terrifying. It was literally terrifying. It was sad. It broke my heart because it looks like a battered woman. I know in America, we believe all women, right? So when women are like, oh, I've been abused, crying and whatever, whether it's real or, crocodile tears. But you can see the difference in people before and after something like that happens. And like now Harry looks so afraid to say the wrong thing. Like he's going to get in trouble. Like when Joe Biden was like, I can't take questions. I'm going to get in trouble. You're like, who is punishing you? What is going on here? But Harry just, because if we talked about Joe Biden, we'd be here for another 6 hours. But like, Harry always looks scared to say the wrong thing. And it's like, dude, what does she reprimand you after every Harry? You shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have said. Like when you're a kid and you spill the family secrets in front of the neighbors or something,
Right.
and then your mom is like, why did you? It's like that. Like, I don't like. I mean, I know of guys who have been emasculated, and like their demeanor is a 180 from. They're scared. Like when they talk to you, like I remember I went on like a friend date sort of situation with this guy. We hung out, had coffee, whatever. And he was so cognizant of what he was saying, like scared to say the wrong thing. And I'm like, dude, it's just me. I mean, I told him I'm not some radical feminist. You don't have to watch what you say. I'm not going to be offended as long as you're not like a jerk, But he was like so like, you can talk first. I don't want to cut you off. Like, no, that's polite though. That's very polite. I hate like when people just are always just cutting and they don't really pay attention to what you're saying. But like the way that he was, you could tell it was like somebody tried to like train him. Like, no, when you talk to a woman, this is how you talk to them, and you don't talk about da da da. And so he was literally like so careful to the point where you had to be like, all right, dude, like I'm not gonna yell at you. You're not going to get in trouble if you say the wrong thing. There's no wrong thing to say. You're all right. Like, But he always looks like worried, upset, scared, like something bad is going to happen. Like he has to always scowling. And it's crazy because during the same year, like 2016, 2017, even 2018, before the wedding, he looked so happy hanging out with William and Catherine and everybody in the family and all that. But then somehow after she came, she was the common denominator, So I don't get it either, And all of the lies. Oh, she made me cry. I didn't make her cry. She made me cry, by the way, and she sent me flowers, and it's just like, oh. But what if they gave a tell-all interview? What if the family said, you know what, recollections vary. We're gonna tell you how the recollections vary. Boom. Here's the facts, receipts. What would they say?
They know. Harry and Meghan can say whatever they want because they know that William and Catherine and the rest of the royal family can't say anything. Mm-hmm. And they're using that against them. Mm-hmm. But at this point, I mean, yeah, like the palace can't just clap back. And I think that is why Meghan's fans hated the royal family. Why didn't they stick up for her? The royal household is not a PR company. I mean, to a certain extent, yes, but they're not going to clap back with everything that's mm-hmm. written about Meghan. Mm-hmm. I mean, they didn't do that for Catherine. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah. I mean, royal rumors have gone around forever. I mean, there has been rumors. There's been political cartoons since freaking when? The 1400s, since we had paper. In the printing press or whatever, people used to draw these little funnies and send them out and say, oh, the king is doing that and the queen is doing that and blah, blah. And did you see everybody come with a scroll and say, hear ye, hear ye. King Henry VIII wants you all to know it, that y'all are lying it and this ain't true it. No. You know what I mean? Like, people let them talk. They're going to talk. They're going to say whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the reality of it.
Right.
Yeah. But you know what's also very weird? The mirroring. You don't own the word royal. We could do whatever we want. But every time, like we talked about earlier, Catherine does something, Meghan will copy the hair, the color of the outfit, in the same 2-week process. And it's very scary because it's like you want to be your own person. But it's like Audrey Hepburn. I think, was it, maybe Grace Kelly, maybe not. Angelina Jolie. Obviously Diana, certain aspects of Catherine, other people. Like, it's like you don't have an original thought Yeah, you don't have original style. Like, it's okay to say, all right, I like this outfit, but the poses, the exact same way that the hair is falling, the same color within the same week, is honestly just, it shows like this low self-esteem. And I don't understand where her low self-esteem is coming from, because she had everything. She literally had a loving father, a loving mother, went on these vacations, had private school her whole life. What was it that you weren't a child actress, that you weren't a child star, that somehow in acting you never made it? So you feel so hollow that it's like she never made it herself. Maybe at the time frame that she thought that she would, or to the magnitude that she thought that she would. And it's like, I know from being an artist, everybody starts off sucking at art, but you keep drawing and you get better. You literally keep on drawing, and I could look at my art from when I was 10, and I was better at 13 than I was at 10, and I'm better now than I was at 22. So it's just like, you have to just keep going. And it's like the same with acting. I'm sorry, she's not a great actress at all. And it's funny because when you had said that watching the South Africa interview was like watching Diana all over again. With Diana, you can see the sincerity and the nervousness and the honesty behind what she was saying. But with Meghan, all I personally thought was bad acting, because we're writers. We have to write dialogue and body language for characters and make it sound believable when you read it. We have to write emotion. And for me, I didn't see any emotion. I didn't see reality. I saw an actor reading lines. And I have personally, you know, when you think of scenes in your head, you think of the dialogue, you make up scenes in your head, and it's, to you, it feels very real. That's what I saw. Every time I see her open her mouth, I see action. I'm ready for my close-up, camera on, scene. Let's do it, people. Not many people have asked me if I'm okay, and thank you. And you know, I was breastfeeding. I was a new mom, and trying to be a newlywed, and you know, on top of that is just, you know, they told me he was great, but they told me don't do it because the British tabloids, they'll ruin you. And I'm American. We don't have that. We don't have America. Didn't we invent tabloids?
Have you ever been to the
Have you never been to one ever in your life? In 40 years, you've never. Oh, what are those things over there next to the gum and the, you know, hot Cheetos?
Oh, Jennifer Aniston has been pregnant for like 25 years. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, and Bill Clinton has been on hospice for 30 years because of the National Enquirer, and Hillary Clinton got abducted by aliens. So it's just like, really? Like, she acts like America is some communist, like we're North Korea.
Right. Like yeah.
Or we're like, you know, a tribe in the Amazon rainforest. We don't have that here. We don't have fridges. We don't ice cream. What is that? I'm American. You know, over there we don't have those things. Like, I was just like,
I'm pretty sure we created tabloids.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. I'm pretty sure we did. So I just don't. Yeah, I mean, the National Enquirer was invented in Las Vegas in what, the 60s or the 70s. So like, do you think we're dumb? The 300 million people are just so dumb. We've never heard of the Queen of England before. We don't know who that is. Who's that? What is that thing? What is that place? We're literally England's child. You know what I mean? We're their kid. Like, you know what I mean? So like, what are you talking about? It's insulting to me as a human being. And as an American, I feel insulted because I'm like, how do you live in Canada where Queenie is on the money? And there was an interview that she gave with Reitmans, which is basically like their H&M or Sears or whatever, where she did a capsule collection with them. And she was like, she was wearing like a two-toned, like I think the top and the skirt were the same color. And she's like, color on color isn't just for the queen. She said this in this interview in like 2014, 15, 16, before Harry. And then she's going to turn around and say, I didn't know much about the royal family. When she literally blogged about Catherine.
When she was holding up the magazine.
With Kate on the cover. Yeah. And they were like, oh, is she going to have twins? And like all that kind of stuff. And she blogged about Catherine before. Look at all the pomp.
Right,
yeah. It's like.
Oh, and she blogged about Catherine.
Yeah, so like you expect us to, you literally wrote a whole article talking about, oh, look at all the pomp and circumstance surrounding Princess Kate and basically, I don't get what the big deal is. Like, the pomp and circumstance is that's a negative connotation of like, oh, why do people care so much about her being the princess? I never wanted to be a lady who lunches. I want to be a woman who works. Damn, bro. You've been jealous of her since 2014? Since you wrote that, like, and you don't know who she is though, right? I don't know who that is. Who is that? Like, I am very, the one word that comes to me when I think of Meghan is confused. I'm literally left perplexed because I don't know how someone can lie like that with a straight face. And she talked about how in another blog article about Father's Day, pre-Harry, of course, and basically just talked about how her dad was so great and supportive and sweet and paid for her education. And then, of course, when she's in the royal family, when she was down under with the first royal tour, when she gave that speech in front of that beautiful painting of the Queen, she talked about how she was that speech. One of the speeches that she gave, she talked about how she paid her way through college, worked through college, and paid her way through college, and student loans and grants, and she worked so hard. Her dad paid. When people talk about white privilege, I guess that's what white privilege. Her daddy paid for school, the whole everything. And just say, my dad gave me the best life imaginable. And I'm forever grateful to my father. But obviously, whatever she told Harry was a 180 from how her life went. And that's why to this day, and probably until the day that Thomas passes away, he can never meet Harry. Because if he does, he'll tell her a completely different story. He'll tell a completely different story. But her whole life is on the internet. So I don't know why Harry doesn't just go to waybackmachine.com, which is where the archive is of her blog, and just read. I don't know. I think I ran out of things to say. I don't know what to say because it's like...
It's just all so... She really thinks we're dumb. And I think Harry didn't see these things until after they were married. And I think now he's just kind of stuck and maybe too prideful to, do anything about it.
Because it would be the ultimate I told you so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think... Okay, another thing, right? Oh, I didn't want to be alive anymore. They locked me in the house. I couldn't leave the house. I left the house once in 4 months when I was in the family, blah, blah, blah. An article came out last week about how she was photographed in Notting Hill getting beauty treatments and going out to eat with friends. But, like, the paparazzi... Like, when people tried to sell the photos to the paparazzi, they turned them down because they have this sort of agreement with the royals that, like, if we see them out, let them live their own private life. But when it comes to royal engagements, we're going to take photos of them, of course. And, Catherine, people take photos of her out and about, but, like, it's not an everyday occurrence that they're not in her face with a camera sort of thing. And it's like, everything that she said in the interview has been debunked, the Oprah interview about how, oh, I never got any classes, any etiquette classes. That might have happened for other people, but it didn't happen for me. I remember when they were engaged, people were talking about how she was having etiquette classes with the Queen's own aide, and that was a big deal. And so, this whole thing about, oh, Fergie and Harry taught me how to curtsy before we met the Queen, I don't buy that at all. And I literally went on Google and I looked up etiquette schools and finishing schools in London. And she lived with Harry before they got married. They exist there. So, I mean, what are you talking? Like, I just don't... If I can go on Google and look up royal etiquette and I see videos of how to curtsy, how to eat with, their place settings on Pinterest, there's stuff like that, and how to address the royals by rank, surely a woman who's twice my age can do the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, she has Google, she was a blogger, she's not dumb. And so it's like all of those things, plus, you were kept hostage, you were a prisoner of war in the palace, which you didn't even live in the palace, but everyone frames it as escaping the palace. Then you name your daughter after this horrible, cold, racist old lady who made you want to check out of Life's Hotel early, who locked you away in a tower and wouldn't let you have your phone, even though you were pictured with your phone in interview on royal tours, and took your passport, even though you literally took 13 international trips that had nothing to do with royalty. And you went to New York for the baby shower, and you went to Ibiza with Harry, and you took 3 private jets in like 13 days, and you went to Elton John's house, and you went to George Clooney's house in Italy, but you were a prisoner, locked away. I'm tired, man.
Pretty good prison me.
I know, I want to be that kind of prisoner, dude.
Locked in Kensington Palace.
Your foot chained to the floor. Getting 1 meal a day, getting gruel. Here, slave, eat this gruel. And put on this dress and come out and wave and act like everything is hunky-dory, then back to the stalks. Like, dude, no, man. Oh my god. Then you name the child Lilibet. And then at Prince Philip's funeral, God rest his soul, she has to make an announcement of, oh, this was the wreath that I bought. And this was the flower company that I bought. And like, and then stories come out, oh, she's going to be watching the funeral from home. Oh. Like, dude, you put the nail in the coffin. I'm sorry. I think she put the nail in the coffin. To me, she put the nail in the coffin with the interview. I'm sorry. Like, she knew Philip was in the hospital and still said, we're going to do it anyways.
And they still went with it.
And it's just insane because every single paparazzi photo that they've ever taken is taken by Backgrid, and that means that they call the paparazzi on themselves. So it's not like some random person at the supermarket who's like, oh my gosh, there she is. Woo. No, it's all like watermarked. So we know for a fact that Backgrid, what's her face? Kim Kardashian calls Backgrid all the time. Selena Gomez and them, there's private paparazzi agencies. Like, I can't call Backgrid and be like, hey, come take photos of me, because I'd be like, who are you? They work specifically with celebrities. So it's just, I'm just speechless. Remember when they said we're speechless about Afghanistan, and then I wrote like 1,000 page, 1,000 paragraph, a billion freaking pages and pages of whatever the hell they said afterward. We're speechless. I'm just tired. Like, the thing about it is, I'm tired of talking about them, and every video that I make about them, I'm like, this is my last video. Then next week, surprise! Here's some more shit to talk about.
Things that you're just like, okay, I gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
I keep you quiet.
Yeah. The floor is yours now, because I'm literally tired and my battery's drained. Because it's just like, the more I talk about their lives, I'm like, yo, I don't...
Yeah. I think I always say, like you, like, okay, that's it, I'm done. But I think having social media and, you know, they're not going away.
Yeah.
And as long as I have my Instagram, I'm going to keep seeing what they do. Mm-hmm. Because people send me things. You send me things all the time.
And people send me things too. And I'm just like, oh God.
Everybody that I'm friends with, they know that I love the royals. So they send it to me. I'm like, that's enough.
I'm tired. Yeah.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you think about this that Harry and Meghan?
It's like, what did they say? What now, man? What now?
But I guess, I mean, whatever. I really want Royal Welting to go back to being fun. I want to be able to run my account and not be bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think that it's going to be that, go back to that way.
Yeah.
So.
I think that the only way to do that would be to focus on any other royal family other than the British ones, because it's just too polarizing for now, I guess. And, I heard that, the media made a wedge between Fergie and Diana, but there was no social media at that time, obviously, so the rest of us couldn't chip in. But now it's just like, there's certain aspects. I like Meghan's hustle. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had it in me to secure the bag by any means necessary, but I can't use men for fame and money. I can't do it. I'd rather I have my own moral compass that tells me, Tumi, like, his money's not your money, and just do your own thing and have your own talent, because at the end of the day, like, I just couldn't sleep well with myself knowing that, like, I got with a guy because he was a movie producer, and then I dumped him and then sent the rings back in the mail. Allegedly. Or I was dating a chef who's who, because I heard stories that, of people in Toronto who said that she would come into restaurants and want the best seat in the house and be like, do you know who my boyfriend is? He's such and such and such. But even if I went to any restaurant and said my boyfriend is Wolfgang Puck, they'd be like, and? Okay, the other guy, Gordon Ramsay.
There's a 45-minute wait list.
Yeah, so
sit down, sweetie.
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't mean anything. Because the thing is, if you're really a VIP clientele, these people call well in advance and say, okay, Drake is going to be trying to come to the restaurant on Friday night at such and such a time. Can you reserve a spot? And if they say, sorry, sir, our place is fully booked, he's not going to show up and, do you know who I am? Like...
Yeah, I was in a restaurant a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you watch football, but Matthew Stafford walked in.
I don't know who that is.
And, he's a football player. Well, he was for Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit Lions. So he's pretty well known in Michigan. And he walks in, and the host goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're full. There's a waiter, whatever." And then he walks out, and then everyone's like, "Do you know who that was?" And she's like, "No." And you don't see him going, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. You know, it's just so. It's in her mind. I think. You're right. I don't blame her either. I mean, good for her. She did what she wanted, and she got where she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to be the most famous person in the world, and she's there. So, good for her.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't think she's the most famous person in the world at all. I think, right now, I mean, geez, the media still talks about Trump all day and all night. So I think that, honestly, I think that Trump and Bill Gates are probably the most famous people alive right now.
But she has such a global interest. So,
well, I mean, she hired 3 PR firms to talk about her constantly, or 2 PR firms. Sunshine Sachs and apparently another one she hired to.
Meghan Markle. Everybody knows who Meghan Markle is.
That is true, but it's more of infamy. You know what I mean? Like, if you know, who's Beyonce? Everybody knows Beyonce and Lady Gaga. So, I mean...
Like the duchess of Sussex, they'd be like, who?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Meghan Markle, yeah. But it's like... Yeah, somebody had said in Toronto that, like, she was that type of person. And, even when they went to, like, Vancouver Island or wherever they were when they were renting the house or whatever before they snuck into America, like bandits in the middle of the night, that, they went to some fancy restaurant when there was, like, a birthday party or something going on. People were there eating. And, all of a sudden it's like, their version of Secret Service walks in, 40 bodyguards looking around the place. Oh, hey, we have these people who want to eat here, yada, yada. Everybody needs to clear the restaurant. And people were like, what? You can't just, like, how, what was it? Where did they go? And there were so many bodyguards. Yeah, when they were in New York. Yeah, and they said that there were like 11 SUVs rolling up and people were, what is this? What? I'm sure Trump doesn't even do that.
5 people. They have like way more bodyguards than there were people.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even. If I found out that it was with taxpayer dollars, I would lose my mind.
It's just like I said. Like, I don't understand the grandiosity, and I guess she feels like no press is bad press, and somehow in her mind it's like maybe she's just tuned us all out. But the thing about it is, every time we say something, she does what we say. Like, she will be like, oh, her hair is sloppy. And then she'll all of a sudden come out with this more, put together hairstyle or something. So she reads, I'm sure that she reads everything. And she said,
but she doesn't.
I don't read Twitter. I read The Economist. Once again, yeah, you could take it. You could take it. You could just say whatever you want because I'm just tired.
It's just such it is a tiring, exhausting topic. It really is, because everything they do is well thought out. I do have to say that, but it's just, there's always gonna be, I don't know, some, like, I don't know. It's just they're one big question mark for me. And I'm puzzled. I don't really know what to say anymore, because, I don't know, I think they're always going to be this way. And I wish they were kind of like Wallace Simpson and Edward, and they would just go away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because like we said earlier, like it doesn't matter if they go live their life, they can throw as many parties as they want and mingle with Hollywood and all that. But to come here and think that they have some sort of moral high ground and some sort of right to interfere in our elections, our public policies, our laws, and kind of try to tell us anything when it's like, you were living in Canada, then you jumped to England and became a member of the British royal family. You have a title in that family. So it's not like you just married some random guy who was like, Lady Amelia Windsor's cousin who doesn't have any sort of real royal connection. You literally married there's obviously Queenie, Charles, William, the fourth in line, whatever, the sixth, whatever there is, in case anything happens to them, whatever, and the kids are still kids, right? You married the Queen's grandson who has a royal title. So then you know what I mean? Then you come here with that royal title and you use it every which way. It's like she should just legally change her name to the Duchess of Sussex because that's all she calls herself. I just don't understand why she thinks we care enough for her to, like, okay, so some woman who married a British royal comes to America and tells us, oh, voting is the most important thing. Harry never voted before, but the royals can vote. They're not supposed to tell you who they vote for because they're supposed to be, like, impartial, Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to say anymore. I just don't know what to say.
They're just, they are who they are, and I don't think they're going to change.
Yeah, I don't really, like we talked about the title. Even the whole, like, showing up to a very financially impoverished group of kids where they have to get free lunch because their parents can't afford to give them, like, $1.25 for lunch. Wearing like $4,000 outfit with $400,000 worth of jewelry, and
but she's wearing. Okay.
Oh, no, she wasn't wearing jeans in New York where she wore the all red outfit. Yeah. So it's like, it's that disconnect. It's literally that disconnect. And like, even, okay, Catherine obviously is gonna be the next queen after Camilla, queen consort, but she'll wear like a shirt from Zara or something and like jeans. Okay, the jeans may be like a little pricey, but she's reworn those jeans multiple times over the past decade. It's not like
she's still wearing the same boots from college.
Exactly.
I don't even do that.
Yeah, so it's just like she's grounded. Like she's learned the role. She's obviously had 10 years in the game, but even when she was dating William and they broke up, she never ran to the media and said, oh, he's like this and like that, and I can't stand him. And she was never leaking stories to the press and all that kind of stuff through her friends and these anonymous friends and writing these letters. And everybody in the family loves to write letters. And it's just like, get me my quill and ink.
Yeah, it's a difference. Catherine is truly in love with William.
For better or for worse, in my opinion. I mean, she stuck around through their own, they were young. They had their own craziness that they dealt with and all that. And William looks happier than ever. Every year he's gotten happier. He doesn't look like a battered woman or a battered man. He doesn't look like a scared child every time Catherine is around him. He doesn't look like, darling, I'm afraid I'll say the wrong thing. What should I say? Wind my puppet strings. He's not shook.
I mean, you see the way they look at each other. It's different, and it's bad to compare, but you put it in the front of our faces. Mm-hmm. When William and Catherine hold hands, they hold hands. They don't, like, she's not grabbing him and, forcing him along.
Mm-hmm. I hope that Harry just, but I think it's too, I'm sorry to say it like this, but I kind of think it's too late because I I can see how, she fooled him with the, oh, I'm a team player. I love your family. They're great. And then somehow along the way, oh, Catherine made me cry. Oh, Harry, do you see what the press are saying about me? They don't like me. Oh, Harry, like, I'm trying so hard and they keep talking about my hair and my clothes and what do I do? And this act of, I'm your mom. I'm your mom and nothing that I do is good enough and I don't know what to do. And, like, him talking about, oh, I woke up to my wife crying in bed. Like, bro, I cry.
I know, my husband, that's the same thing all the time.
Yeah, like, I cry in the middle of the night, but I don't wake up my parents and I woke up to my wife crying before the interview. Archie was seeing his mother cry all the time. Archie's 2 years old. He wasn't cognizant when he was 6 months old of his mother's tears. Like, I'm sorry. And so it's just like, I just don't know why Harry can't see it himself. What is really going on? If we can see it. Everybody can see it except him, but like you said.
Blinded by love.
Love. Whatever that means, like Charles famously said.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's sad because everybody was happy. We all thought that he got his happily ever after, and it's like a royal nightmare, I was watching The Little Mermaid, and she lost her voice, and I thought, me too.
Oh my god.
I literally look like a floating head.
So dramatic.
Like I said, everything has to be a telenovela. Everything. I'm surprised she didn't say, oh, I used to be bulimic, or something like that. Pull the eat. Because at this point, she's pulled.
Oh, it's coming. When she drops all of her weight, baby, it's coming. It's coming.
No, I'm not laughing because it's funny, but I'm laughing because I wouldn't be surprised, But I honestly do think that the kids are gonna be on the Netflix documentary show, whatever they're planning. Because why else would the kids be such a secret?
She wants. I'm surprised she didn't do a cover spread in People magazine.
No, I mean, I think that that's what she wanted, but I think that People would be too low for her because it would prove she knows what tabloids are. So I think she wanted Vogue, and I heard that allegedly that Anna Wintour refused to give her Vogue by herself. That she wanted it with Harry, and Meghan said no because she wanted it, And there's this guy on YouTube actually.
She didn't want to be on the cover of Vogue.
Did she say that she didn't want to be on the cover of Vogue?
Well, remember when she did British Vogue?
Oh yeah.
That was a diss at Catherine. I have the British Vogue. Isn't that weird?
Oh, the one that she did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow. No, yeah. I thought about buying it at the time, but then I was like, I don't want to hear about all this forces for change, feminists, women, climate change crap.
I absolutely hate it. I have it. I went to like 5 different Barnes & Nobles looking for it, and they're like, it's still in the box. We haven't even opened them yet.
Oh my gosh.
They're like, who is this?
Yeah.
Is this the Sussex? I'm like, Meghan Markle.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But be back here again talking about.
I know in another 6 months when they do some more shenanigans, when the Netflix and Spotify shows and stuff finally roll out, part 2. What do you think? Are you gonna watch the animated series Pearl?
No.
I want to see, because I mean I'm an animator, so I want to see what style they go with. But if they literally go for something that's like Simpson style, I will literally just die and be like, yo, what is this? I hope that they go for something actually like nicely done. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be like anime or something extremely gorgeous, but I hope that the style is like, it'll be hilarious if they go with like a Disney style. That would be very funny. Oh God. Okay. But winding down from this, is there anything else that you want to add about like who are your favorite royals? What royal would you be like if you wanted to be a royal, or like what are your favorite things about Catherine? What are your favorite things about Meghan? What are your hopes for in regards to royal, watching, Princess Mako just left the imperial family of Japan and is moving to New York with her lawyer husband and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very interesting time to be a royal watcher.
It definitely is. Catherine is my favorite. I mean, besides the Queen, I love the Queen, but I like Catherine. I feel like I can relate to her. I think she's very down to earth, and just she knows who she is, and I love that. And I think having somebody that has that much power and influence on a culture, I think it's awesome. And I love, you can tell she's a very, very great mother, who wants her children to grow up in as normal of, a normal life as possible. Meghan, I do like Meghan. I do, and I think it's more of, I wanted her to be successful in her role.
Same.
I really did. I miss them being a part of the royal family, because they were just different, and at some point, the Queen is going to be gone and Charles is going to take over, and I'm going to say, like, Catherine is going to be the one holding it up, Camilla, I like Camilla a lot, I do. I have a lot of respect for her, but she doesn't, she doesn't get the attention that that Catherine does, or
of
that
course,
Diana. And I think, Catherine is really going to be the one holding it up, and it would have been really awesome to have, Meghan and Harry still, in the fold. But you can only dream. If the Queen wants to hire me, where to find me.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I don't hate Meghan. Like you said, I wanted her, because the thing about it is, obviously, whether it's a interfaith marriage, interracial marriage, cross-country marriage, all of those things are challenges. So she got all of that and then some, because I think Trevor was Jewish and she converted to Judaism to marry him. I don't know what faith she holds inside of her heart. She seems like spiritual, hippie, like manifestation and crystals sort of vibes things, right? Sort of more new age than actually tending to follow a certain religion. But like you said, like, I wanted her to not just survive, but thrive as the Duchess. When people say thrive, I can't take them seriously now because of that whole line. But it's not just, you can't just survive. You gotta thrive, right? Something like that. I would have loved to see her thrive in the Duchess of Sussex role. And I love how the royal family did welcome them in, did give them titles, and then carved out a role for them. They had, Meghan had, like, the hub kitchen. She got the patronages of, like, theater and, the Mayhew Center and all of these things. So the Queen was so gracious and generous to her, whereas Catherine was in the family for years before she got patronages and, like, certain more roles than before. And, they immediately got to go on a royal tour the same year that they were married and all this kind of stuff. So it's not to say that the family just put them on the shelf and said, you can't do anything.
And in the fact that she got invited to Balmoral for Christmas and to do the walk, the
Christmas walk was history.
Wait, what?
I said it was historic. Like, it was history. It was historical. She was the first.
A fiance. Catherine was in that family for 10 years before she married William, and we didn't see her once.
Yeah.
And to say that she wasn't welcome is just such a slap in the face to the royals. It really is. And for us royal fans, I mean, and I think the problem is people who didn't, and I know you said you got into the royal family before, because of Meghan or whatever, but the history, the etiquette and the protocols and the history. And I think people came in being fans of Meghan, and they didn't understand that.
Yeah, at all.
And it's just, that's just where the disconnect is. And and I think if you really don't understand the monarchy, and especially the British monarchy, I mean, you can say, why is that still around? I mean, if you're a real true royal watcher, you understand that they're not just figureheads. I mean, they really do good charity work, and they do bring in a lot of tourism to the country. And I just think it's just the Sussex squad didn't know anything.
Yeah, exactly.
About the British royal family, and they only came in because of Meghan.
Yeah. And, I mean, like, I did watch, I mean, obviously these are just shows, but I watched, the Tudors, and, like, Reign was not historically accurate at all. But I did learn about, like, Mary's Queen of Scots through that whole experience. And like, you know, movies like The Young Victoria and all these other movies about royals, like The Duchess with Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley with, as Georgiana, the Duchess of Devonshire, who was friends with Marie Antoinette. So it's like all of these shows, like I fell in love with royalty that way. But it was like the older version of royalty and stuff. So I learned about, you know, the Romanovs too, and really loved that family. God rest their souls. But it's just like, you know, I really, really, really started to pay more attention to the British royal family, like actively on a weekly basis because of Meghan, yes. But I obviously knew who they were, knew about the Queen, knew about Diana, of course, and all that. I'm not going to be like Meghan and say, who are they? I had no idea who they were. I didn't know nothing about them. So it's like, it's so sad because I don't think an American will ever marry into British aristocracy ever again because it's tainted now. So I can't marry the Duke of Westminster or Princess Diana's nephew, Louis. I can't marry either of them because...
Right now, who's pretty good looking, actually really good looking, is Princess Margaret's grandson. There's Sarah Chadow's kid.
Yeah. How old is he though?
He might be a couple of years younger than us.
Yeah, so I can't do a younger dude. So
Meghan did.
I can't though. I'm not Meghan. Megxit baby. I can't do it. He has to be my age or like a little older.
Older.
Yeah. Not like Charles and Diana older, but you know what I mean. But yeah,
And Prince Andrew's available.
Dude, stop. He's still living. Stop. Literally, yo, get out. I'm about to end this video. It's over. Nasty old man. Skirt. But nah, yeah, dude. I mean, Frankie never left him. They still live together. So, I mean, you know. But
yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, very complicated. But, you know, yeah. Thank you, though, for having this talk with me. I've literally run out of things to talk about.
Having me. I know, this was awesome.
Yeah, this was very fun. Yeah, it's a dude. We're living in a soap opera. You know, I feel like a lot of times people don't, like, you know, when Trump ran for president, like, we didn't really know we were living in history, you know, and people don't know that they're living in, like, history.
Yeah, like, people will read about this time.
Yeah, in, like, for 100 years and be like, oh, there was a time when what. So, but yeah, I just personally think that Wallis Simpson and Edward are reincarnated as Harry and Meghan. That's my personal opinion. So, yeah, that's what I personally think. So I think time will tell for the rest of it. We'll see what happens. I honestly wish them well and their kids because I think it's going to suck when Archie and Lily grow up and realize that, like, yo, we could have been a part of this family and we were like, basically snatched away and our mom... You know, people were saying that Archie and Lily will have their own tell-all interview in 20 years. We'll see. When Oprah's 95, it's just like, Oprah, so your parents, she's just gonna be pulling the same stunts that she. Oh, that's news to me. What Oprah did wasn't an interview; it was like a vent session, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't do any. It was just a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was just a mess. But
we knew it was coming. It didn't surprise me.
So were you silent or were you silenced? She's just looking at the camera with the Princess Diana eyeliner from the Martin Bashir interview. I don't know what to say.
I know.
I'm tired. Okay, guys. That was me and Rachel. We had a great time. Thank you again for being here. And thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And let me know if I should have Rachel on again talking about royal correspondence. We should just do royal news of the week.
We should.
Where we just come on and we just talk about, or start a podcast like you said.
We should.
That would be mad funny.
Oh
man, that would be great. But all right guys, thank you so much and I'll see you in the next video.